What's going on? Welcome back to the pod. We got Raaid on. Today we were talking about our week in Yu-Gi-Oh! And we are clearing the air on some of what happened last week.
Havoc.
And talking about siding patterns, side deck choices, main deck synergy with side decking, and what to consider when you're doing it.
And as always, make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new. We greatly appreciate it. And comment down below your thoughts and opinions on a lot of the topics that we're discussing, especially with the siding pattern and stuff like that.
Yeah, enjoy.
Cool. Deuces.
Welcome back to the pod. We got Tommy Konami in the booth, man.
I'm back. Hopefully the recording doesn't go bad this time.
Yeah.
And the audio and stuff.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah. I finally made it back. And we're here to discuss siding patterns.
Yep.
And, how to side, what to do when you consider siding. And, obviously keep that in mind that, everyone's locals is different.
Yes.
So how you approach siding for your locals and your regionals and YCS is very different, right? Of course. And
we'll cover everything of what to consider.
Yeah.
But want to specify, not just about what cards to side. Like, that's not what this video is like. These are the cards you want to have in your side for this format.
Yeah, it's how
we'll touch on that for sure. But like, it's siding pattern. It's like what to consider when building your main in order to best use your side. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
First off, let's get into our week in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and kick us off. I was having an all-time run this week.
Yeah.
I was having an all-time run.
Okay.
I guess last week, but so played on Tuesday. Me and Sam were down at the Southside Locals.
Yeah.
Both playing Branded Dracotail. Both undefeated. I'll see if I can post a picture right here of us posing with our packs and shit. It was legendary. It was sick.
Yeah.
And I think the way the tiebreakers went, he actually won. I was second place, still undefeated, so I'm gonna take the dub there. Then by the time this video's out, so will Matt CS.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to avoid spoilers for this week's Matt CS, skip ahead a little bit. But took that one too.
Yeah.
Dusted my boy in the finals. Let's fucking go.
Game 3,
but you got dusted. It was a sick game. I encourage you guys, if you haven't seen it, to go watch it. It's in the Matthias video, but it'll be on the channel on Friday. And yeah, that was a sick run. I played Hecka Hands Chimera in the first round. Then I played Yummy Mimigul, and then had to get my vengeance from the first week.
Yeah.
So at this point, 6-0 on the week.
Okay.
Going into Friday, I'm like, I've won the Southside tourney, won second place. I won Matthias, undisputed first place. I just need to win at the Northside local, and this is gonna be like the crazy week.
Monumental.
Yeah. No such luck. Went to the Friday local. I can't even remember what I lost to. Might have been. Can't even remember, but wasn't able to pull it off. Went X1, which was like, but at this point, I'm feeling really good because I'm 8-1.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do now this year is look at my performances based off a bigger sample size than say A locals.
Yeah. Treat like a YCS.
Yes, like size. A YCS or a regional. So I'm like, what is my overall weekly record, and is it enough to get me top cut?
Yeah.
Is how I'm looking at things now.
Okay.
So I'm 8-1 on the week at this point, and I'm like, I'm feeling pretty fucking high, right? Like I'm killing it right now.
Yeah.
And that led into the Sunday locals, where I won the first 2 games against a deck that I fucking hate, Mitsuyami.
Yeah.
First game, like, I don't mean to toot my own horn too much, but I will right now. I'm playing out of my mind. Like, something snapped, man. I was just like, I think when I played this against this deck before, I would scoop too early.
Okay.
And now I'm kind of more familiar with how my deck can interact with it, that I'm like, I'm only going to scoop when it's for sure the battle phase and I've got nothing left.
Yes. Yeah.
And even then, I'm like, let's see what happens.
Let's swap. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is great because I'm able to come back. I came back. I think this is the crazy thing too. On the Sunday locals, I lost every single die roll except one.
Was it your last game?
No, I think I lost every die roll.
Okay.
It was crazy. But I was so happy with how my deck was performing going second, which we'll talk about later in siding patterns and stuff. But I'm playing 6 Melcharmies in the main, 3 Fua, 3 Perulia.
Oh, shit.
And that was just allowing me to do turn 0 plays, whether it was just the standard hand traps, Ash Bell, Nib that I'm playing in the main, or Femena Fuse at the right times.
Yeah.
And this is where this weekend especially was where I really saw value in upping the amount of Dracotail Dragons in my main. So playing 2 Pan, 2 Urgula.
Oh, yeah.
Because playing in the Mitsuyami, having the Urgula to pop the field spell to stop the Reborn,
Yeah.
saved me like so many games.
Okay.
Because they would be comboing off and then I go, okay, Femena Effective Fuse. Whether I ridded the Snatchy or not, in one game I went summon Arthalion bounced the Snatchy, and Urgula popped the spell. They had no play, so they go Mitsu, and I had the Bell, or I had exactly what I needed. And it was just like, I want to emphasize this point. Meta decks are meta for a reason. They're good. Mitsuyami's a really good deck because those engines can bridge into each other, and if you open both, you can just play. Doesn't matter. But knowing what meta decks do is the actual key to success.
Yes.
You can build the best deck in the room. It does not mean you're going to win every game. I want to emphasize this point because we talked about the stun guy last week who was upset that he got outplayed. All these kinds of things. Oh, and before we get into our main topic, I'm going to bring up last week again too. Because we got some feedback on it. Okay. But I just want to emphasize that point that being a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player means being a student of the current meta game.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say it again. Be a student of the current meta game. Knowing what your opponent's cards do, when they can actually activate, what they're going to do when they activate, what your board status will be before and after that activation is critical to winning matches. Because I don't care if you summon Murakumo on my empty board. If I can banish that Murakumo the next time you summon it, I don't care if it board wipes me. I have no board to wipe. Yeah. When it's my turn, I'll establish my board. And by that time, I've bounced your Murakumo or I've banished it or I've negated it. It doesn't matter to me anymore. So like, I've had this too. I know you're this way about certain cards. You just fucking hate them. Yeah. Like, they do too much. Yeah. It's hard to interact with. And that's all fair. And I've been there too. But the feeling of getting around that card you fucking hate.
Oh, for sure.
Is the best feeling in the game. Yeah. Where it's like, dude, I just outed the Snatchy, the Murakumo. The yummy card that pisses me off almost more than anything is the Cookie Synchro that books too. Yeah. Because you'll think you're like, fuck, I got him on the ropes. Yeah, yeah. And then they do that in the battle phase, and you're like, okay, well, this game's going another turn. Yeah. They get the fucking field spell back, and you're like, okay, well, I died. Yeah. So it's like factoring that in. Yeah. He's got one more push left. I just have to bait it out. And baiting out that cookie and activating a Draco when it's my turn, or his turn, their turn, and not like making that synchro monster miss its timing is one of the best feelings in the planet, man. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, you summoned it, but I'm going to negate it or blow it up. So you better use its effect to tag out on this chain. And when you've done that, now you're losing the window forever to book my monsters. There was a push like that I had in the game. There's a push where there was like a judge call where this player, really good player out of locals, nice guy too, but he activated Snatchy to quick synchro without another monster on board. And I, maybe in, months prior, I would have been like, yeah, cool. But I was like, you can't do that. Like, you can't actually confirm that you can commit to this summon. Because I knew he had surprise. So yes, he could have chain surprise somewhere in that chain to get a body by the time that resolved, but you can't activate it if you don't have a body. So that won me a game because he was under the impression he could, and I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Again, student of the meta game, you have to know what your opponent's cards do.
Yeah.
And you got to read them sometimes too. So I'm feeling pretty good. My third round of the day was another Yummy player, but this time Yummy Sulfur Cord.
Okay.
And it was a good back and forth. It came down to me having a Lubellion on board with a Mirror Jade. And he SP'd the Mirror Jade, which triggers the Mirror Jade's effect to come back at the end of the turn. Not come back, but nuke his board at the end of the turn. And the time goes off. So, 10 seconds to time going off, I'm like, would you like to roll for it? Because he has 4 guys on board, so they're plus 2k by the field spell, but he doesn't have enough to kill me by way of the Lubellion. I said, would you like to roll? He said, no, I feel like I would win this game. Essentially saying to me I should concede and give him the match because he's going to win, if not for time. But I know my Mirror Jade is going to blow up his board.
Okay.
And on the next turn, I could win the game. So I was like, that's fine, man. And then the store owner asked who won. I said, double game loss. Because I'm not going to throw a match and give a guy a win I don't think he deserves.
Yeah, yeah.
It became a little contentious. I could tell the guy was upset. I went to shake his hand. He wouldn't shake my hand for a bit. Then he conceded and shook my hand. And I usually don't have any issues with this guy. We usually play a very straightforward game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of jokes or anything, and I don't mind that. That's fine. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
But I could tell he was a little upset by it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's his prerogative. That's fine. I was upset too. I was just upset that we went into time in the first place.
Yeah.
But that sank my record.
Okay.
Which means somebody got paired up to face another XO player. Because there was no XO player as a result of our match. We both turned to X1 players at that point.
Okay.
Next round I played against was like Charles, I think. And he was playing RB Striker.
Oh, he was online, eh?
Quick 2-0. Quick 2-0. And then my final round was against Odeon Primite. And I just bricked kind of. I made a misplay. The guy was pretty unforgiving about it. And that was that. So I ended the week with, what would it be? 3-8 is 11-3.
Yeah.
So
You lost 3 on Sunday?
I lost twice on Sunday,
Okay.
and I had lost once on Friday. So 3 total losses in a week.
Okay.
But not X2,
Yeah.
which means I would not make top cut.
Yeah.
So it was a little deflating.
Well, don't you have to win 9 games? So your first
it depends on how many matches there are.
Okay.
But normally like X2 is enough.
Yeah.
I could have bubbled in, say,
Yeah.
but it wasn't what I was going for.
Sure, yeah.
So that was a little deflating. But still overall a pretty good week, 11-3. But we're just working towards getting better.
Yeah.
Preparing for a regional. And actually this Saturday we have this unique event going on where it's a YCS VIP ticket.
Yeah.
So I'll compete for that and we'll see what happens. And there's a lot of exciting Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think a lot, and why I want to talk about this main topic today, was my side decking patterns were really instrumental in my ability to win as many matches as I did this week. So that was my week in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
How about yours?
Mine wasn't awful. It was pretty average, I guess. So I didn't do Tuesday or Friday, so I just did Mat CS and Sunday yesterday.
Yeah.
With Mat CS, I started at the head table. I started off against Draco Tail. Against Sam, I'm pretty sure I 2-0'd him. And then, maybe 3-0, but you'll see the video anyways. Yeah. Or not 3-0, but 2-1.
Yeah.
But check the video. And then game 2 was Hekahan, Chimera, Fiendsmith build, crazy. Yeah. It was really cool. This is slow. He was just trying to figure out his deck, so it was just a process, and then trying to interact with his board caused me to think a lot because it's just very, very different to try to play through a Caesar, things like that, right? And he had monsters that can't be destroyed by battle. I had to really consider that sort of thing, right? So lots of thinking even on my end. So it was one game that lasted well over time, and it was one of those situations where by legal rules, it's a double game loss.
It did get ruled that way from NCS too.
Yeah. We ended up ruling it that way, but initially, because you were like, you guys figured it out.
Yeah.
Because I was already 1-0 that day, and I just wanted to keep my position in the table. I was stubborn to just give him the win. So by the end of like our hour of dueling, he ended up taking out my life points.
Yeah.
But up until time, I was up in life points. So if we were to do like a life point thing, like I would have just been up, and that would have been my win. But since we just played through time and he beat me past time, so I was like, well, I don't want to just give up my position. So we either take this like a double loss, we could roll for it, whatever. So we just ended up doing a double loss.
Thing, I don't know if I mentioned this to you at on Sunday, but the way the bracket worked, the result actually ended up being the same, whichever way you guys decided to go, because I beat Dallas, who you played against first round.
Yeah.
And I beat Stefan first round.
Yeah.
So everybody at that point, besides myself, was 1-1.
Yeah.
So that includes you after that round 2.
Yeah.
So you kept your spot there anyways.
Yeah.
Based off the tiebreaker scores, you were still second place.
Yeah.
So the only difference is I would have been in your chair.
Yeah. So like ultimately, just whatever we did to end up deciding, like me and him still would have matched up regardless.
Yeah.
And then so we played our games, and then I was like, I can't remember how they played out, to be honest with you, but he did end up winning in game 3. So it was a good just back and forth, and then Sunday, rookie mistake. I didn't scan my code.
Oh, really?
So round 1 was a buy, so it was an uneven anyway. So someone was gonna get a buy because I scanned in late. I was like, oh shit, I need to scan, and then because I already did the pairing, so I was like, oh, I need to scan. And that sucks. It's fine. I got a buy, whatever. Take it as you will. Someone was gonna have to get it anyways, so it wasn't like just whatever. And then game 2, I played against Art Mage branded Diabell.
Yeah.
And that was quite interesting because turn 1 he went right into Dragoon, and that put me in a position that was very difficult to overcome. So I was like, hey, what do I need to do to make sure that my Dragoon or his Dragoon, I can overpower it?
Yeah.
So the best thing I can do is like I gotta force a Tyrant and go Mausoleum target Tyrant to up it to 42.
Yeah.
Because he already had it to 4K.
Yeah.
So like I need to overpower his Dragoon. That's the first thing I got to do. And the moment he got his Dragoon to 5K, I was like, we may as well just go next game, because I think I passed on that turn with what I could do, and because he had his own interactions in place.
Yeah, you don't have a non-target removal for that.
Yeah. Especially just with like my deck in general. Unless I did side in Super Poly, but he didn't really summon Dragoon after that first match, anyways. But with that whole build, because he had like Sylvia as well, I imprimed that. He didn't even like bother Nikki.
Oh, he really took our build, eh?
Yeah,
that was our full build.
Yeah. He basically took our branded.
Yeah, it's a guy at our locals who was playing Art Mage, that Raaid played.
Yeah,
and you and I came up with that same build.
Very similar build.
Yeah. Trying to give him some advice, but it seems like he built it pretty similar.
Yeah. But he didn't use Dark Magician. He used like the card that substitute, not King of the Swamps, like the other one.
Goddess of 3 Eyes.
Yeah. He used her still. Not the best Dragoon, but it was still at least an Omni, and he got it strong enough, so that was hard to push through. And it got to a point where I was like, I can't really do much here. So I was like, let's go game 2. Game 2, I won. And then game 3, he ended up winning because he was able to create his board. And dude, there's one thing I didn't realize about Armage cards, that they special summon just by having an Armage card on board. You don't actually need the field spell. I can't remember if I remember that or not.
You knew that, yeah.
But I was like, I read that and I was like, wait, how are you summoning this? You don't have the field spell. He's like, so I might have just forgotten at that game.
Yeah.
But I just remember I felt like for the longest time I was summoning only because I had the field spell. But I think I was only doing that because I searched off the field spell and then I summoned, not because. I just haven't played the deck consistently in a long time, to be fair. But
it's a cool deck. It actually topped Distant Coder.
Yeah,
so Yugioh, he topped Toronto Regional.
Yeah, using that with K9, so that's pretty neat. So game 3, I play against Branded. He said he's been playing at our locals like for a few months. It's like one of the first times I've seen him.
John?
No, not John. It's a different guy. His name is Matt, actually.
Black shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said he's been there for a few months. That's the first time I've seen him. but he's saying that he just kind of hopped into the game. He's been playing Master Duel for a while. It was kind of good. It was a good back and forth. I 2-0'd him. It was really good. He was still figuring out like interaction points. I was like, no, this is gonna be happening in new chain. So it's really good that I now understand that.
Yes.
Because it would have been it would have created a lot of awkward moments of like, I'm not sure if this triggers here. Nonetheless, I did beat him. I like again siding, considering decks, helped a lot. You know, I had 2 super polys in hand, 2 nibs I think it was, or it was like 1 nib and 2 of another card that would hurt his deck actually a lot. And then no, it was 2 nibs, 2 super polys, and I had a maiden. And then he had talents, and he was like, I'm just gonna spin back the maiden. Sure. I was like my only starter. I was like, damn. So I shuffled, and luckily I drew a wishes, so it was able to help me push. And then I super polyed his board because he went Sanctifier on his turn, and then he went Albaz to try to fuse it on my board. I just went super poly, and I got so trigger happy because like for the longest time, so because he put Cartesia on my board, right? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna super poly right here, make Secretarion.
Yeah.
I took that out that morning.
Oh no.
I was like, oh fuck, I took it out because I was like, I'm gonna just put in Indigo because I've been put in so many situations where I'm like, I got Jet and Blue Eyes, and no fault, like nothing here. I can't. They're both in defense. I can't attack, whatever. At least with Indigo, I could shut down the enemy board, remove like Jet, bring out a Blue Eyes monster, whatever. I could do stuff. Cause I was like, when was the last time I summoned Secretary on? Yeah, I don't know, but it's gonna be good against Branded, that's for sure. But I can push through Branded.
Fucking kills Branded.
Yeah. But I was like, I've played Branded where I can push through with my already board, and there's other super poly targets anyways. But in that board state, I didn't have one. However, I was like, sorry, that's not even a legal target. Do your thing. Yeah. And then I was able to get to a point where I can make it a legal super poly target, and then I made my board. I think I just made Tyrant anyways. Like I used his dragon with my Blue Eyes and made Tyrant and did my thing. And then so I beat him 2-0, and then game. So that was round 3. So round 4 was Mitsuyami. I think very similar guy that you dueled. Mm-hmm. Round 1, he took. I believe, and it was ultimately, he just created a state where he already had like the Yummy Mitsu board, and I think that just kind of hurt. So I was like, I couldn't do anything. Game 2 I took, and then game 3, which was very frustrating to me, it came down to time with that one because he just had more life points, so I just kind of gave it to him because I didn't really want to make it a whole thing. Yep. But what had happened was I used Ultimate Fusion. So I was going to pop his... So all he had was All Mirage and Marshmallow. Yep. And I was going to use Ulti Fusion and to, fuse my Blue Eyes on board to pop his Marshmallow. So I knew that there wouldn't be anything else that he could do. And this might have been on his turn that I did this, so that way he couldn't extend. I just wasn't confident with what he had in hand because I was like... This was like not turn 1 or turn 2 kind of thing. It was like turn 3. So if he would have done Mitsu, he would have done it already kind of thing. So I was like, I need to make sure I get the Marshmallow out. So here's what happened. So I go Ulti Fusion. He reads the card. And he reads the effect. So then he gives it back. I fuse my Blue Eyes White Dragon and Jet in hand. Shuffle them back. I summon my Tyrant. And I pop his Marshmallow, and then he goes, effect All Mirage to protect, because it's a quick effect to protect the monster from destruction. So he goes to try and protect Marshmallow. I was like, you can't do that. It's too late. Like I've already activated the effect. You would have had to do that to chain to the it's like kind of with your like Malulu and stuff, right? You can't chain to the negate. Yeah. It's like it's all one effect. And he's like I didn't get a chance to respond or anything. And I was like, you read the card. Yeah. You watched me shuffle back the cards back to my deck, and you watched me summon this monster. So at the point of which I've already declared your monster to destroy, you're now saying I want to go back.
And it's a non-target pop, isn't it?
It's a non-target pop. So now he wants to go back and be like, no, I want to use the effect. And I was like, I mean, You know what I mean? Like, there's no, it's too late. Like, we already so many steps. The monsters are in deck. Yeah. The new monsters on board.
Jeans now are already ironed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was what frustrated me, because that was the decider.
Yeah.
That would have been my Yummy Mitsu like win. And that would have led me to continue being X1, going into the 5th round X1. And I wasn't gonna make a big stink about it. I wasn't gonna call a judge to try and explain the whole situation, which I think would have probably just gone my way, because there were so many things that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I could have said, like, is this fine? But, like, again, he read the card, right? Like you said, study the game, make sure you read the card, right? He read the card. I put the cards away and I summoned. Like, yeah, it's so late right now that the game state is so different. It's like,
I'll say this, because I said the same thing when you explained this to me at the locals.
Yeah.
That's not on you.
Yeah.
Like, what happened is not your fault.
Yeah.
However, the thing is, this is not with this guy. For all intent and purposes, I know this guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I think he made a mistake and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But whether it's locals, regionals, whatever, as the player activating an effect, and I've had to learn this more so by playing Dracotel.
Yeah.
Because these effects happen on res.
Yeah, yeah.
I explain the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Because I want people to chain to them.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, say they chain the Yummy to tag out. Cool. Whatever you summon, I negate on resolution.
Yeah.
So I explain that to them. They don't tag out. And I negate that thing anyways.
And yeah.
So the cool thing about the Dracotel cards is that's how it works.
Yeah.
You can respond to this, but if you're responding to Pan or to Malulu, the result is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Now, for a Yummy player who tags out in response, you get 2 bodies back opposed to 1.
Yeah.
And that can make a world of difference, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, you can't. It's hard to dodge those cards.
Yes.
When it's all one effect,
Yes.
you have to actually negate their effects.
Exactly.
Find a way.
And they chain block, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so if people watch the Mats Yes, the final between you and I is decided because I Arthali on you and I bounce your Tyrant.
Yeah.
It's a targeted effect, but you can't chain Neo Blue Eyes Engrave to negate it because I chain block it.
Yes.
So then that gives me the win because I clear your board, whatever.
Yeah.
But all of this to say that when you're the person activating the effect and the guy reads the card, or even if he doesn't, say, do you have a response to this?
Yeah.
So that you can clock when he says no.
Yeah.
That when you resolve it and you go, okay, I'm popping this, and he goes, oh, wait. You said, no, you said you had no response.
Yes.
It's too late at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
So just recalling my Friday thing, I played against 2 players who were like new. One was playing Mitsuyami. Didn't really know what he was doing, but he was a nice guy and I walked him through it, still won or whatever, but like, I was trying to be helpful. And then the other player was playing Enneacraft, and was less receptive to, critical feedback.
Yeah.
But I explained this at one point to him because I was resolving my Dracotel effects and he goes, okay, I'm going to chain this. And I go, well, it's actually too late.
Yeah.
If you wanted to respond to these, you have to do it on activation.
Yeah.
But I know you don't know that. This is your first locals.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to let you chain to this. That's okay. But just so you know, when this card resolves, these are going to resolve after it.
Yeah.
So if you do chain to this, this is going to be the result.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I understand. But it is in my best interest to activate this trap now so you don't just Urgula pop it anyways. And I go, yeah, you're absolutely right. You should. So we resolved it. Whatever he got off the trap, I was still able to get rid of based off the other effect. But it was like, I'm trying to give you as much information as I can.
Yeah.
So that you're also not upset by the end of this chain resolving. Yeah. Because these things are going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
But giving you some sort of input into how these things resolve is important.
Yeah.
Because I need to know what you're doing and you should know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which, had you have done that in this case, what he likely does is he changed he does the same thing. Yeah. Change Almirage because you're either popping one of those 2 things and he's going to protect one. So you're still out a card. Yeah. But it's not the one you wanted to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Right. So he ended up like, okay, Marshmallow's like, okay, well, I'm just going to pop Almirage. Yeah. Doesn't matter because he links one into Snatching and it's just combo.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it was just annoying because again, it was like it was on his turn and he had already normal summoned. I think it was like the Mitsu stuff, maybe I can't remember. But he had normal summon, so like he didn't have much to stand on. So I was like, I knew that if I popped that Marshmallow, like I would have had Tyrant on board, and he just would have had to have passed on that.
Yeah.
Maybe a set to scare me or something, if that. And it's just kind of annoying because the moment I said Marshmallow, it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're just gonna back up, protect your Marshmallow. It's like, and that was what annoyed me because again, I'm trying to get X1 here, for locals that's not like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-round day, so yeah, it was just kind of annoying, and that really bothered me. So
yeah, when you lose a match or a game in that way,
yeah,
like I get it. I don't want to be too sweaty here and be like, fucking never let your foot off the gas, but I get it's locals, but there's still a decorum, there's still an etiquette.
Yeah.
You need to play these matches through, even at locals. Like at locals, I let guys take stuff back.
Yeah.
But that's operating from a position of like superiority.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, all right, man, you do your thing. And it's mostly guys I know and I like, and I'm like, that's fine, man, because again, I want the best playtesting information. Like, what's the ideal thing? Is my play good enough to actually win? No.
Yeah.
They should. They can chain that.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I'm winning games that I shouldn't be winning, which is not good statistics, right?
Yeah.
So there's all of that, but my thing, had I been in your position, because I know that guy, I would have been like, fine, man, but you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, if it's regional, YCS, no, it's too late to chain to this.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why, but like you, especially because the guy read your card.
Yeah.
It says on there, pop. Like it's.
Yeah. Like the fact that even if it was like in a new chain, you should still want to just like protect Almirage, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or protect your Marshmallow anyways. You just chain it regardless.
Yeah.
And then that way it doesn't get popped. But anyways, yeah, that's what just frustrated me. It was just annoying because then like the rest of that game it was just slow. Like we just didn't have a decider.
Yeah.
But he was up in life points, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna make this a double loss, which I could have done because like if I was just gonna get the loss anyways, kind of thing. Like I just gave it to him, but I was just like, whatever. Like it's just kind of just move on.
I don't like double losses.
Yeah.
It's happened to me maybe 3 times. One was at a regional.
Yeah.
But I feel like walking away from a double loss, my feelings are always the same.
Yeah.
And that there's some guy on the other side of the table telling me he would have won.
Yeah.
And internally, I feel like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone else there like feels the same, that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
Is you can't say definitively you would win or I would win.
Yeah.
You don't know my top deck.
Yeah.
You didn't have enough to kill me. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
If a guy says battle phase and the clock goes off and I have no monsters or interactions, okay, man, you got it. It's fine. Yeah. But you're like, no, dude, I have interactions. I have a card I would draw next turn. All this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you didn't play fast enough, and I guess neither did I. And this is the result of that.
Yeah.
But because I'm starting to accept them more is what I'm saying. Is that it's like, hey, man, like, it was a grind, and this is what it's come to. Yeah. I'm okay with rolling for it.
So because of like that, the way we played that out, he did it like again. He was able to extend.
Yeah.
So I was like, so by the end of time, it just made more sense that he was, like, I let him win kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, and then after that, I just went to game 5, against 6 Sam.
Yeah.
Just hand trapped him, like right away, and then he wasn't able to do much, and that was like a fast win. That was a good comeback. Because this is the guy that plays Blue Eyes, and he beat me with it.
Yeah.
Twice. And
twice.
Then, yeah. And then he goes back to his main deck, which is 6 Sams which is the FTK.
FTK, yeah.
And then I just hand trapped him, and then he just wasn't able to FTK. So it's very ironic that he's using his main deck.
Yeah, and you were
couldn't beat me, but when he uses like his side deck, which is Blue Eyes, and it beats me, it's like, oh, okay, that's crazy. But
speaking of, I'll touch on this now before we bridge over to our main topic. Unless you have anything else to say on your weekend.
No, other than that, yeah. So X2 was the result with one game beating a buy.
Yeah. Oh, buy, right.
Yeah, and then but other than that, yeah. So I was like, okay, just next.
So
yeah.
For listeners, viewers, whatever. Last week we talked about a stun player who faced off against an FTK player.
Yeah.
Or FTK player.
Yeah.
And was upset and had a crash out and all that. And if you haven't seen that, you should go check it out because it's really funny. But the FTK player reached out to me. He's a good guy. He's the 6-am player at our locals. And he watches the show. Andres. What up, man? But he wanted to clear some things I got wrong.
Okay. So
mostly it was all right. But he was never sent first, and it was a 2-0. It didn't go to a game 3. It was a 2-0. The stun player went first game 2.
Yeah.
So he's going first with stun. So that means no excuse. And
more so with his deck because he doesn't like the FTK player like 6-am doesn't have hand traps.
Exactly.
So it's more so like you can do everything you want.
Exactly.
To do. Yeah.
So pretty, astute play for the FTK player to side in evenly matched.
Yeah.
Which he did, and he resolved.
Oh.
And blew up the guy's board.
Okay.
The only monster he left on board was Vanity's Fiend.
Yeah.
So no special summons. Then he proceeds to imperm the Vanity's Fiend and begins doing the combo.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's not trying to FTK him. He's just building a board. He doesn't have the hand to FTK, say.
Oh, okay.
But in building the board, the initial steps of building a board and building the FTK are the same.
Yeah.
So it's at that point where the stun player went, "You're a piece of shit. You're a dick," or something, blah, 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 blah.
This is for game 2?
This is game 2.
Yeah.
So game 1, 6-am player goes first, FTKs.
Okay.
Game 2, stun player went first, got evenly matched,
Yeah.
and then lost.
Yeah.
So that led to some of the
outrage.
The outrage.
Yeah.
Is because, and honestly, that makes it so much worse, in my opinion, is that you went first and you lost the evenly matched and you're still complaining about 6-am cards.
Yeah.
It's like you lost the evenly matched.
Yeah.
Like, and you're playing stun. So, like, you died by the sword in that you didn't draw the card to negate evenly matched, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, eat it, man.
Yeah. So it had a stop to it.
Same guy was trying to be all buddy with me this weekend, and I was like, "Don't."
Speaking of that guy too, at this point I was playing the Yummy Mitsu guy, but I'm like on the back side, like the other end where table 1.
Oh,
they had a judge call.
Yes.
And he was over talking like the judge.
Yeah.
And at the back, I'm just like looking. I'm like, I was gonna be like, "Yo, Steve."
Yeah.
I'll say his name. Not his actual name, but Steve.
Yeah.
Like that's not you're not the judge. Let the judge do the judging, right? Because like he's making a call and like Mike's looking at him like bro, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like because I don't.
And the funniest thing is his call was wrong.
Was it really?
Yeah, when the judge came, because the call was XYZ material detached from, I think, Baguska.
Yeah.
Under Di-Fi, Dimensional Fissure.
Yeah.
Does it go to banishment or grave? And it goes to grave.
Oh.
Because it gets detached as an XYZ material.
Yeah.
So by the time it hits grave, it's already in grave, and it can't go somewhere instead.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not a monster at that time.
Okay.
So, say like Arthalion.
Yeah.
When you detach 2 from a XYZ monster, when they hit grave, they're monsters.
Yeah.
But that's when they hit grave.
Yeah.
And Di-Fi says any monster that would hit grave goes banished instead. So they never actually hit grave.
Okay.
So it's XYZ material. It would become if it crossed that line into the graveyard, but it never does. So it never becomes a monster before it hits graveyard. It hits grave.
And he was saying that it does get banished, right?
Yes. Yeah. So he was wrong.
Okay.
Also,
if you send the XYZ monster with the material, does it all go to banish then?
No, I believe the materials would still go to grave, but I could be wrong.
Okay. That's whatever.
But
yeah, I was just seeing that. I'm like, dude, I don't think you know any better than the actual judge.
Oh, for sure don't.
And like, just don't speak on it because like
we're lucky we have very knowledgeable judges. These guys have top nationals, top regionals, even recently.
Yeah.
Like, just let them do their job.
Yeah, and then and the people too at the top table are very well like knowledgeable of the game.
Yeah, it's a judge call between two of the most like knowledgeable players.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's fucking crazy.
I was like, Steve, you're not actually gonna help anybody here, so stop.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyway,
I want to shout out a player at our locals playing Enneacraft. A deck I've written off.
Yeah.
But he's able to go undefeated with it.
Yeah.
I never
already,
played
by the way,
against him.
before ban list. This is before the ban list of Justice Hunters or anything. This is before Burst Protocol 2, depending on when people are watching this. We're in January right now when this came out. And yeah, with Enneacraft, he topped locals.
Yeah. It was impressive. He's an impressive duelist, I'll say. Like,
very smart.
He's very smart, very like level-headed.
Yeah.
Like he would never crash out. But I watched a guy who's also pretty knowledgeable impulse one of the effects to special.
Yeah.
So they reveal themselves special, a monster from hand. Just a monster.
Yeah.
Face down.
Yeah.
Not once per turn. So he impulses it with no trap and grave. So the impulse resolves. The summon's negated. Impulse goes to grave.
Yeah.
And the Enneacraft player just goes, activate.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And just does it anyways.
Yeah.
So don't fucking impulse if you have no trap and grave because it's not going to do anything.
Destroy it, yeah.
Yeah.
At least that specific monster, I suppose.
Exactly.
Is it just that one monster that does it?
No. Every Enneacraft monster.
They just reveal and special?
Reveal the special face down, and then you get locked into specialing face down for the rest of the turn. But they all do that same effect.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. So if you pop one, they'll still if they have another, then they can do it again, though. So just don't even waste it on that then. Unless you're just sitting on like 3 different solemns and an impulse.
Yeah. But it's like, it was like silly. It was like.
Yeah.
The guy was in like a tough spot anyways. He
was
gonna get. It was like, that didn't do anything.
And in which case, he was also running Jinzo with the Enneacraft build. So it's like if you had all the solemns you wanted,
bro.
Actually, like unless you solemn the Jinzo, to be fair.
It was a very technical build. And it was cool
it was
because
fucking sweet.
He'd do like 6K in the battle phase and then go to end phase and burn for 38.
Yeah.
Holy fucking game, dude.
Yeah, that deck is very interesting because I guess you can set anything then, hey?
Yes.
Unless the card says like you must tribute this card, it must be tribute summoned.
The guy I played on Friday, I didn't understand how the Enneacraft cards works. I thought it revealed itself and set itself.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, "What are the stats on that guy?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you wouldn't know." I'm like, oh, really? Like, didn't you reveal it to me to special? And he goes, oh, yeah, I guess I did. And then he flips it, and it's like Pot of the Forbidden.
Yeah.
Which I think is like draw 5 or something crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's draw. I don't know. It's some crazy card. It's like a level 10 Pot of Greed thing.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I was like, oh, shit. No, I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah. It was the Enneacraft that he has to
Yeah. So you set any monster from hand. So that's how I learned. I said, my bad, dude.
Yeah.
My apologies. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If it's okay with you, I'm going to bounce this card, so that's not relevant.
Yeah.
And then he set 2 more anyways.
That's so crazy.
So he set the same thing again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what spot it was in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that like cleared that up. But I was like, oh, I didn't know. And again, he was new, so he didn't know that I shouldn't know. And I was like,
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no, the Enneacraft, it's going to be interesting how they play, especially one, considering the ban list coming up. And 2, it's just what people can think of.
Yeah, they really struggle into Draco Dao.
Yeah. And just how people think about it, because like, what's to say you can't just? Well, I guess I don't know what you can do.
Really hope we avoid is like guard dog. Guard dog's like Vanity's Fiend. Neither player can special, and it's a flip monster.
But they can just do that with Vanity Fiend.
Yeah.
The same way so they could just.
Yeah, but see, as a Draco player, I'm not that worried. It's like, oh, you set 4 cards face down, I pop them all.
Yeah.
I do not care.
Yeah. So it's just which one? It's kind of like magical hats.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a fun.
See, if they made it if that was the retrain, I'd be like, that's pretty cool.
That'd be wicked.
I don't care about the Cleafort retrain.
But it's all like machines, so
yeah.
I don't know. Some super poly machine fusion monster if you got to.
You can't though because they're face down.
It's fusion summon though.
No, but you can't. You can fuse your own face downs. You can't fuse your opponent's face downs because you can't verify what type they are.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we're talking about the Alba Lenidus thing, I can set my own Albaz, and you have a bunch of face up dragons.
Yeah.
I can contact fuse. Yeah. Because on res of the summon, I can verify that I sent Albaz.
Yeah.
But if you set, I can't fuse with your sets.
Right. Oh, okay. But still, we could see some interesting stuff coming out with Enneacraft. Like, I'd be interested to see what that develops. I'm just hoping that it's nothing fucking insane.
Yeah, I
But
hope
the
it's
fact
not
that
stupid.
that player was able to do like Jinzo, I think it's so cool. But just seeing Jinzo is really cool. I know it's like a floodgate, but it's just trap cards, and spell cards are typically what you need to start and play.
Yes.
Trap cards are just used to stop your opponent, not to play the game.
Yes.
Maybe you could say that with like True Light, but I think True Light, because it's set or placed, it's fine.
Anything short of Trap Tricks or Labyrinth, I think we're all pretty. And I'm saying that as a Dracodel player. Like I'm trying to set 3 traps. So.
And then Jinzo 2 is only like it's 24, which is like relatively high.
Yeah.
But it's 1 branded fusion away from just getting destroyed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's fine. So that's what Jinzo's not an issue. But I think we were talking about this like a while ago, maybe on one of the pod episodes. But it's like I'd like to see like Jinzo become like just a meta relevant card.
They tried. They made support for Jinzo.
They did.
Dan played the deck.
Yeah. But just more
Shout
so
out
like
Dan.
in a way where people are like, oh, I want to throw Jinzo in this deck because it's applicable here.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just like a machine synergy, but it's just because you could set it and then summon it and then or like flip it over. It's like, oh, okay. Heavy
Metal Raiders, maybe. Much to consider.
Yeah. But it's a cool idea that what people can do. Because like we said, you can't do it with like every broken monster. That's because some of them, like the God cards, they can't be normal or set.
Yeah.
They say that. Yeah. So there are some cards that are really good that you can't just special like.
Yeah, I hope the locks are strong enough that it doesn't become degenerate. Yeah. But we'll see.
We'll see what monsters kind of derive from this. Like we said.
But I said this to the guy, like complimentary. Some decks are meta and some players are meta.
Yeah.
Like. Just because a deck is not the strongest on whoever's fucking tier list, or you watch this podcast and I shit on a deck for 3 months, doesn't mean you can't do something with it. Yeah. You just got to be locked in.
Yeah, because he's topped with like Ritual Beast too during like a Malice Rizal meta too, right? Like I've seen him very well like.
Probably not in Malice because everyone's playing Lancia, so Ritual Beast kind of died, But yeah, no, he's a good player. Yeah. He's a good player.
He played well at least with it. I think he maybe stopped around then, but I think just before it got really good. I know he was playing it consistently and he played it well. Yeah. Nonetheless, and he's just a really good player overall. Yeah. Because he did Exodia last year, and that was during a Fiendsmith.
Every deck he's played with, he
topped. Yeah, because like during Exodia, that was like during New Bell. That was during Fiendsmith Rise or Snake Eye. Yeah. So that's pretty gnarly. But yeah. Anyways, main topic.
Yeah.
Siding.
So, I mentioned this before. My side decking strategy this week was more aggressive than I'd say it has been previously. Yeah. So, what I mean by this is that when I was looking at my side deck and I was looking at my matchup, in previous weeks, I've sided cards in and been like, shit. I forgot to put in Fallen and the Virtuous. Now I don't have an out for the Arclight. Yeah. And that cost me the game. So obviously I have to play this card now. But all the other cards that I've sided in, I also still want to play those. So then what becomes the answer? Not non-engine spots. I have to move engine spots. So Andre used to have a rule, like don't side out engine. Like don't side out engine requirements. Oh, yeah. Because, there's previous times I looked at my deck and I'm like, let me just drop the branded stuff to side stuff in. Yeah. Mistake. But maybe I dropped 7 Dracotail cards because by the time I've resolved anything in hand, I've either opened those Dracotail cards, which may be enough, or I've opened a bunch of hand traps and a starter, and that should be enough. Yeah. Or I've got, at this point, 8 Charmies in the deck. I should be able to resolve one. Stuff like that. The biggest thing, though, this week for me was finding ways to get the Fallen and Virtuous into my deck post-side. Yeah. I don't like maining the card. I don't agree with the logic behind it. Up until Burst Protocol, where the branded plays more of a role in Dracotail. For me, there's an aspect of deck building I call feels bad. Yeah. These are not real stats. There's not enough testing that has gone on for me to determine that this is not a good card to play. Yeah. Right. And I feel that way with the Fallen and the Virtuous. So some people may have played it and been like, this card in main is kick ass. Yeah. All power to you. However, when I played it in the main, I felt bad. I didn't resolve it all that often.
Yeah.
And I often wish it was any other monster.
Yeah.
So that I could fuse with it.
Yeah.
So what I do now with my current Dracotail list is I play 6 Charmies in main, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Perula is really good though.
Yeah.
And obviously Fu is good. It's not even just that I want to play those cards, because playing those cards into some matchup vs K9 is detrimental to me because I'm shotgunning the Perulia in the draw phase.
Yeah.
And that's going to turn on Azuna.
Yeah.
I'm taking that risk though,
yeah.
because playing 6 cards that I for sure have to side out if I lose game 1 and have to go first, makes my game 2 strategy
easier,
so much harder to beat.
Oh, okay.
I've referenced this before. I call it the cookening.
Yeah.
There's certain hands I can open when I'm going second that I don't give a fuck what you have in hand.
Yeah.
I am not losing this game.
Yeah.
Fenrir, Lucaeus, Femena, Urgula, Branded Fusion, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many combinations of cards I can draw post side that it's like, oh, I'm going beyond full combo.
Yeah.
I am getting everything I need under nib and playing through multiple interactions.
Yeah.
And it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But I wouldn't have that wiggle room. I wouldn't have that raised ceiling if I was playing only 3 cards that had to come out.
Yeah.
Reason being is, like, sometimes I side out 9 cards when I'm going first. All 6 Mulcharmies and 3 nib. And in place of those 3 nibs, I play 3 Droll and Lockbird. Because nibbing on your turn after I've gone first is detrimental to me as well.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you take that trade-off depending on the matchup, because it's just like, I got to get these bodies off the board. I can sacrifice my own to do so.
So Droll going first.
But Droll going first, because this might not do anything for me. It's a brick this whole first turn. But as soon as you search, I stop your play, and now we're going to game 3.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Fair enough.
Right?
It's like weird, like a floodgate.
Yes.
Create your board and you, like, it's like a
anti-spell
fright.
Yeah, it might as well be a set trap, right?
Yeah.
So, plus in my deck, I can use it to fuse.
Yeah.
I can fuse into a Secretarion or a Mysterion and bounce it back off Hotel. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Nib, tougher, because I can draw a nib. It says brick, and the finding a place to use it to maximize my grind game as well as its efficiency when it activates is way tougher than Droll.
Yeah.
But that's deck dependent, obviously. Like, some decks will still add on, the opponent's turn after passing going first. But to me, this has been like the biggest reason I've seen more success recently is not being afraid to be like, I don't need 3 Malulu.
Mm-hmm.
I drop down to 1.
Yep.
I don't need 3 Lucaeus. I don't even need 3 K2.
Yeah.
I don't even need 3 Rahu. I don't need 3 Dracotail traps. Yeah. That's 6 cards.
Yeah.
And playing without 3 K2 going second is a gamble, because if I don't see it, I'm giving myself less ways to see it.
Yeah.
And if I don't see it, this is a tougher matchup. But I don't need to see it if I resolve Meows and Fua and Nib and I drew Fallen in the Virtuous. You haven't made a board good enough that I need to draw K2 anyways.
Yeah.
So that's tough to do, though. It's like if I told you, you're going second, play 1 Wishes. You'd tell me go get fucked.
Yeah.
Because that's the best card in your deck. If you resolve that card, you're in such a good spot, right?
Yeah.
But when push comes to shove, if you draw that in your starting 5 going second, would you rather it be Nib or Droll or Meows or Perulia? Those are the kind of questions you got to ask when you're side decking. Now, a lot easier said than done. I feel bad taking K2 and Rahu out of my deck post side.
Yeah.
It feels stupid.
Yeah.
And some people might hear this and be like, this guy's fucking smoking crack.
Yeah.
But getting access to more hand traps in order to put my opponent on a half board is more valuable to me than trying to resolve my 3 bombs of spell cards, and they all get interrupted, right?
Exactly. Because theoretically, if you go back to your turn and you stop them so much that you use your 1K2, then you can create a board. You can still get another Rahu, and if you do have access to Branded Fusion, then that's good. Because then now you create a board where now they have to, on the crackback, little to no resources, break your board. But now you also have traps to stop their 2 cards in hand. So if they have a spell starter, Flame. Summon a normal monster, Horn. Game over.
Yeah.
So,
and
it's not
go watch the final. If you don't even watch the full match, go watch the last game of this week's finals of Mat CS. Because this is exactly what happened between you and I.
Okay.
So I went first that one. But even if you watch the second game, I make a huge misplay that absolutely cost me game 2.
Okay.
Because I beat you game 1.
Yeah.
You beat me game 2. I win game 3. Game 2, I forget you summon Jet. I go to pop True Light, and you're like, well, you have to target Jet.
Yeah.
And I lose the game right then and there.
Yeah.
Because you then drill beam my Rahu.
Yeah.
Which I could have popped myself in response to your drill beam with my Fallen and Virtuous.
Yes.
And at that point, I then crack your board.
Yeah.
Because I non-target pop the Jet or the True Light or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably not True Light, but
you would have popped. Oh no, you okay? No, that's what you mean.
But yeah. So, and what I end up doing, the way again these Draco Tail chains resolve is you have Jet on board and you have True Light. I send Pan and Urgula, and I chain Pan last. So it goes resolve, set off Pan,
so
pop
you did game
Jet.
3, I think.
Yeah, game 3.
Yeah, you did that.
So pop Jet.
Yeah.
Pop True Light.
Yeah.
Pop board.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not sided. And that game 2 is like, that's why I was so upset about it even afterward. It was like, I fucked it up. I just shotgunned. I was like trigger happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my eyes lit up when I was like, oh, fuck. I drew my side cards.
Yeah, yeah.
But going into Sunday, there were so many instances in my, especially against Mitsuyami, where having the Fallen and the Virtuous in hand gave me so much push. Because it's like, even draw phase, I target Herald of the Arclight. This game is, the course of this game has changed exponentially. Because if my hand was garbage going second, right? But there's points where I drew 2 Branded Fusions.
Yeah.
A K2, Fallen in the Virtuous, and like something.
Yeah.
It didn't matter because I had Fallen in the Virtuous. So I target the thing to pop. They might chain or they might not, or they might try to interact it with another thing. Cool. I've gotten rid of that interaction. So then I go Branded Fusion. They go Retail C. I don't care. Banish Malulu and Albaz, summon Lubellion, discard the second Branded Fusion, shuffle those 2 back, either Mirror Jade or Chaos Star Source. I'm still clearing the board.
Yeah.
So without that card, which is just like a free interaction, it's a free pop, right? Especially if you're playing branded cards. Like, without playing that card, I lose those games 100%. So then it was important for me to get those cards in, but it's like, yeah, but I'm also going to play Meows into Yummy Mitsu. There were certain decks where it's like I sided out Perulia because I'm like, this is not going to give me enough draws. I think against you in the Mat CS, I took out Perulia in favor of, might have even been Meows or it might have just been the Fallen and the Virtuous.
You did use Meows on me because I was caught off guard like crazy. Yes,
because it was like, okay, I know I'm getting 1 draw off of this. I might even get 2.
Yeah.
With Perulia, I might get 2, but I know for sure I'm only getting 2. Because you can normal summon and normal summon again.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah.
Like maybe Jet from hand, but the chances of that happening are so slim. I'm okay with taking this out.
Yeah.
Because I would rather play 2 copies of this than 3 copies of this, which lets me get a called buy-in or whatever the case is, right? Whatever the rationale was. All this to say, though, is that I separated myself from the anxiety of like siding out Engine and was just willing to be like, if I don't see cards that I need to facilitate my combo, them's the breaks, bro.
Yeah.
I went second.
Yeah.
That is going to happen to me or it's not. The way I can play around that is by having interactions that don't require me to see that engine.
Yeah.
So then you play more hand traps. Then you play more board breakers. By doing so, I've given myself the ability to extend this game longer and hopefully drawing into one of those cards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess let's get your initial takes on side decking and your experiences with it.
Yeah. So, one, side decking is something I had to learn a lot more over the last like year and a bit, is understanding what you put in the side and what you're remaining, and understanding the influence of like hand traps and like which ones are applicable to your deck. A lot of Blue Eyes builds would play 3 Veilers because my deck searches it. I just play 1, so I can use those 2 spaces for another hand trap that I think might be more beneficial. You know, like 2 Imperms that I can recycle, right? Whereas a Veiler I cannot recycle, but Veiler is a 1 card. You know, it gets me a Blue Eyes by itself, but that's not the purpose of Veiler. I want it to target negate.
Yes.
And Imperm does that on both people's turns.
Yes.
So that's like an alternative. And just seeing like what blends with your deck too, because you just like you don't want like Impulse is cool, but what's the point of using it in Blue Eyes if you're just gonna shut down your whole engine?
Exactly.
Right. And if you're gonna set it, then just use Solemns, right?
Yes.
And or other like Black Goat or something like that, you know. And while like Impulse isn't the worst set, it's still like there's other options that you don't have to worry about like hurting you. So for me, like you, I also just switch up like last minute kind of thing yesterday before locals. I was like, I'm gonna switch up my X side deck because there's some that aren't as viable as I want them to be. So I had Bestials, I took those out, and I was like, okay, well, what 2 can I put in here? And you know, I was thinking about putting Black Goat again. I was like, I don't need more turn 1 cards because I'm okay with just 5. Like I also got to think of how many cards I'm siding in and out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really thinking too much about Charmies. Like I wasn't thinking about Perulia as much. I was like, which I could do, but I was like, no. I ultimately just decided on adding 2 Nibs. Nib was just one of those hand traps where I just didn't like opening and then not using it.
Yes.
Because it was like it was like the worst brick when it comes to hand traps.
Yeah.
Because like Droll is always usable, Ash is always usable, but that's always like in the main. Droll's in the side because it depends on the deck. I don't like opening up Droll, especially when I have it with a Charmy, because then it's like one or the other. Unless you draw enough where you're like content, where like I'll just Droll here. But usually when you draw enough, they've also added enough to play. So I'd rather just another hand trap than Droll.
Which is why like going back to something I was saying earlier, like that knowledge about what you're playing into determines that siding pattern, right?
Yeah.
That's an obvious statement. Like I'm playing Malice, I'm going to side in Lancia.
Yeah.
But also, how many searches does this deck need?
Yeah.
Before I can't push over the board.
Yeah.
Okay. I activate Fua. I activate a second Fua.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw until I know you've reached that
threshold.
And then I'll drill you.
Yeah.
Because I have everything I need to go full combo. Yeah. And I have Nib.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do at this point because I know under these circumstances your deck does not put up in the gate.
Yeah.
So my my Nib is going to resolve.
Yeah.
Something you mentioned too is the synergy of your side deck.
Yeah.
Sometimes you side in a card that is not synergistic with your engine.
Yeah.
Dracotail doesn't have this problem because a lot of what you're siding in is hand traps or monsters.
Yeah.
Which makes it tougher to play something like Fallen and the Virtuous because it doesn't synergize. The synergy is only with the branded engine.
Yeah.
So then you have to play multiple to get a lot of value out of them. Something like Nib synergizes with Dracotail because I'll just fuse with it. When I was playing Voiceless Voice, synergized because it's a level 10, which counts as a full tribute to a ritual summon. Yeah. With Blue Eyes, a little more difficult because if you don't use it, if they stop at 4 summons, it's only your discard off of wishes.
Yeah.
So then it gets clogged in your hand.
Yes.
And at that point, you wish it was anything else.
Yes.
So
and there's a lot of hand traps against a lot of builds where like it's just a better option.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of things I'm considering. So when I play with my side deck, I have my 5 main going first cards, and then I have like 10 other cards that can be interchangeable depending on the matchup. I got my Super Polys at 3 or at 2. I got my Nib at 2. I got Droll at 3, and then so that's 3, 4, 7. So I got another play set of another hand trap. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Oh, I have 2 lightning storms and 1 feather duster.
Yeah.
Again, those back row removals are dependent on the decks that I'm playing against.
Yeah.
I'll pretty much side them in against Draco Tail, force the flame out.
Yes.
And then
plus if you have a Ash or Bell,
yeah,
you force the flame out and then you still resolve it to pop everything.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So pairing it is really nice that way. So, and that's typically for that. And then any other deck that will set like a lot.
Yeah.
The odd Labyrinth player, maybe Enneacraft now, because seems like that field spell is very detrimental.
Yep.
Plus they have the pendulum scales, the scales. So, things like that. Even K9, because of Case with the attack boost that they'll get from that if they have force release. Things like that. Just some decks, they just have those spells and trap back row that will mess up your play in one way or another, because I think it's force release that has it rank up pop. Make sure that gets out of the way. Granted that it'll force them to do it at that moment if you go lightning storm, because they want it to stay alive, but you can declare monsters because they'll have them in attack mode. So now they got to be like, ooh, do I want to use the force release now? They won't have monsters otherwise.
Exactly, yeah.
Nonetheless, that's why I have back row removal, because Blue Eyes does need to make sure that it doesn't get interrupted with those back rows. And against your deck in particular, that's the big struggle, because if you go Femena or whatever and you set those back row, it's really tough to interact with in addition to your hand traps that you have. So yeah, and I do have to consider what I'm siding in against when I'm playing. Super Poly against your deck, weirdly, it's weird. Sometimes I will put it in, sometimes I won't. It's harder with when I had Secretarion. That was like one of the things, but then all it meant was your Gulamel doesn't trigger or your Arthalion doesn't trigger.
Yeah,
that's nothing crazy because you still get your sets, which is the most detrimental part to me. I was thinking about Droll. It kind of slows you down, but it doesn't matter. You still get your negates and your effects off your traps, so you just don't get your draw. Which
the thing is, doesn't do anything. Into Dracotail, Droll literally becomes a 1-for-1 hand trap.
Yeah,
which is just not that great. Like, there's probably better options.
No, because if I Droll you after your K2, who cares?
So yeah, I'd say the only time you want to Droll Dracotail players if they normal Lucaeus.
Yeah.
And add, say, Femena.
Yeah.
Then, Droll them. But, because then, especially if you went first.
Yeah.
So that they can't K2.
Yeah.
But if I'm going first and I get Drolled, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, the K2 doesn't resolve, which means I have one less body to fuse with.
Yeah.
But that is not the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah. Because then you just change your set options. Instead of setting K2, you just go Rahu in one of the traps. And then you set up 3 traps anyways, so it doesn't matter. Right? That's the thing. And so that's why it is matchup dependent. But there's a lot of decks that just do die to Droll. So I'll side them in against Branded. I'll side them in against Mitsu, K9, Fan Crystal.
Yep.
Things like that. Like, there's a lot of decks. That's why 3 Drolls is always good. And like you said, like, if I'm going first, I'll put them in. Even going second, I'll also put them in because they're just good at either points.
Yeah.
Like, because if I open up a Droll going first against like a K9 player, I know that even if I can't make like a full board, it'll still be good because they can't also build a full board. And then so what I take out though, I mean, going first, I take out all like my Charmies, which is just Fuelos right now. I take those out going first, and so that's 3 cards, and then I'll take out any other 2 cards depending on what my opponent is playing. For example, Imperm might not be the best card into Yummy, so I'll take out 2 Imperms because I'm running 3, so I'll take out 2 and then put in my 5 going first, which are Solemns, 2 Strikes, or 2 Warnings, 1 Judgment, and then 1 Primite Scream and 1 Dragon's Mind, and then those will just be my interruptions, and then which are very good into Yummy because they just stop any of their summons, and then I'll have my monsters. Sometimes I'll even cut Engine, especially going second, because again, you want to stop your opponents as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I find that like there's so many starters in my deck. There's 5 main starters, and you play 3 of all of them, so that's 15 starters. I have a 40 card deck, so more than a third of my deck is starters. So there's a high chance that I'm still gonna pull one at least. And a lot of the time I draw 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fine. So that's why I take out 1 of each. So 1 barrel, 1 load, 1 sage, 1 wishes, and 1 maiden.
Okay.
And then going second,
Yeah,
I'll put in 5 other hand traps. So, and this is like if I keep, if I keep my Mocharmy full of those already. So then that's already like 5 additional hand traps. And depending on the deck, if I'm going second, it'll be the board breakers, it'll be the nib, it'll be the super poly. So like against branded player, I did super poly and nib because I was like, they're probably gonna summon like 5 times, which he didn't end up doing because he used talents to see my hand, so he didn't have to. But the nib was there, and then I had the super poly as well, because I knew that deck is very susceptible to super poly, and with my deck it works out, dragons, etc.
Yeah.
And then you have the draw because branded dies to draw. Lots of others die to draw, and then you're going first cards. But for the longest time now, I have not been afraid to cut out engine because going second, the last thing you want to see is full engine.
Yeah.
Because it's just it sucks. You just sit there and you watch your opponent combo, and they just stop every single thing you're about to do. Yeah. And then there's cards that you keep all the time. You're considering the meta. You always keep your Ash and your Bell because they're good into basically any deck.
Yep.
And then I keep Purge in because, again, it's just like an Ash, so that stays in. My 1 Veiler, it's just 1 Veiler, so it's fine to keep, and it's a searchable card, right?
Yeah.
So I keep that, and then, I'll take out the Imperm if necessary. I'll take out the just engine mostly. It's usually just engine. Sometimes the jet if I'm like, I don't need to use jet against this matchup.
Yeah.
So let's get an additional hand trap in here. And then I'll take out, but I'll keep any of the staple cards that are necessary. So people will take out like Majesty going first or going second because it's a trap. The thing is with Majesty is like you need it to be searchable with wishes. So if you don't have any searchable targets in the grind game, then it becomes very annoying to draw into it. So that's why I make sure that I have searchable Blue Eyes cards. So like Majesty, Ulti Fusion, and Roar. If I don't have targets, then it becomes very hard to push, right?
Yeah.
So that's why what I need to keep in mind, because there are a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I wish I had an additional Blue Eyes spell or trap here, because this would now be, I can go set True Light and I can make another Tyrant, and then I search and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so, but when you do consider your side deck, you do have to consider the metagame and what's applicable and what's gonna hurt you the most in your deck and how to stop it. Called by the Grave is like a no-brainer for my deck because it takes is like an Ash on a wishes.
Yeah.
I draw. You know what I mean? So you gotta be very mindful of when you hand trap. So having that 1 silver bullet is I think the only silver bullet that I play besides like Judgment, but that comes with the other turn 1 card that works similarly to Judgment anyways. So it's not really like a one of. But that's why I have like the 1 called by in the main, because whether I'm going first or second is always going to be good for me. I keep that all 3 matches basically, because if I go first and they combo, then at least I can use the called by to push with my combo or stop any additions that they want to do. So it's like if you're playing Draco Tail, maybe I called by Fame Mana, right? So now you can't fuse on my turn. Things like that. So it's good. So those are the things that I do consider, and it does help actually a lot. It gives you so much room when you consider cutting out engine, because then it gives you a lot more value out of your hand traps. Yeah. And you just got to make sure that you have a lot of starters, because if you only have 3 starters, you don't want to cut those out. Yeah. And you got to just consider how your deck works.
I think like the principles I've taken in when considering to cut out engine. So a lot of times it's like, I know predetermined, I lose game 1, I'm going first, I'm cutting Charmies, and I'm putting in 6 or 5 monsters in a called by, right? That's pretty standard. Yeah. Maybe I'm swapping out, depending on the matchup, the nibs for the drolls. Something like that. But certain times it's like, I need a pop, I'm going to play Fallen and the Virtuous. That's usually a going second option for me, but it depends on matchup. Yeah. So when I consider the engine I'm taking out, it is a question of what do I need, but it also, especially in my deck, I find it's not only searchability. Searchability is a huge part. When I say that, I mean like not just add a card. When you're talking about Fimena, yes, you need a Dracotail card in hand with Femena for it to be useful. That is true. So cutting Dracotail monsters gives me less chance of resolving Femena on turn 0. However, if I do, I'm setting twice, maybe once, and that is going to get me into K2 Rahu. So maybe I don't need 3 because I don't need to draw them. I just need to be able to get off this fusion.
Yeah.
So that becomes a 2-card combo.
Yeah.
3 when you consider the other monster I need to use for the fusion. But that gives me more wiggle room in that I'm going second. I want to stop what you're doing. I don't need to see my starters as much.
Yeah.
Because I just need 1. And I get a 6th card, if not a 12th, because you played into my Fuas.
Yeah.
I remember, though, while you were talking, it wasn't you I took out the Perulias. It was the Odeon Primite, because I was like, this is useless.
Okay.
I'd rather play Droll.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll get 1 draw off of this, if that. But the Fua actually gets from the Lordly Load Declare.
Yes.
And then they probably make Baguska or something, so that's 2 draws.
Yeah.
Opposed to the 1 I'd get from Perulia.
Going second, you could like Perulia going second is probably like good against that deck, eh? Because they have to flip some and everything. No, sorry, it's all set. Never mind.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's from.
No. You're thinking of Enneacraft?
No, I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
No, it's
they're all
ass.
set.
Yeah. It's not worth playing because they'll either normal barrel or normal man.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's your 1 draw you're getting off of them.
Yeah.
Whereas like I said, Fool will get you off load, and Fool will get you off like what if they make an Xyz or if they make Silhouette Rabbit or whatever. But
no, Enneacraft is like a Perulia for sure.
Yeah,
because it's like 3 to 4.
Yeah. It was funny, but the new guy, the new player, he was like, so I activate Perulia, and he's like, so does that count if I, summon face down? And I didn't know what he was playing yet, and I was like, it doesn't count for sets.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, cool. Activate any craft effect to special summon and face down. I said, okay, I know what I just said, but this is a special summon face down, so this one is going to count.
Yeah.
He was like, what?
It's like the Malice Trap thing.
Yeah, literally. It's just like, this guy's making shit up. And then,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
And then he did something where he's like, he tried to target one of his face down cards. Like, you can't do that because you can't verify the type to me.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, I see. And then I fused with a face down thing, and he was like, I was like, he's like, I know the rule, but it seems silly. And I was like, it is.
But yeah, that's just like the way I approach siding.
Yeah.
And like it also might be different too with certain decks. Because when I say it's different is like you might use engine cards as your side cards. So some people would side out Majesty or keep it in the side and they'll go turn 1 kind of thing. Or they'll do that with a second roar or a second blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yeah. Falling of the Virtuous is another card that they'll do that with. And I think it just depends. In my opinion, I just see the value in just having a completely different card that might be more suitable all the time.
Yes.
Like a Solemn, like I'd rather have that than like a Majesty turn 1, right? So why not just do a second Solemn of some kind? Because that'll do more for me than what a Majesty can do for me.
See,
and I know I can search Majesty.
Solemns to me feels bad. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I draw them, I feel great.
Yeah.
If I don't see them, it feels horrendous.
Yeah, for sure.
And the only way to see them is to draw them.
Yeah.
Right? When you go first and you side for going first, the only thing you can bank on is drawing something.
Yeah.
Right? That's how the game works.
Yeah, yeah.
The same applies if you're going second, but there's a different feeling there.
Yeah.
At least for me. Like, I was playing Dracotail, and my side included a Judgment and 2 Dragon's Mind.
Yeah.
And I played that build for probably 2 weeks. I never drew it once.
Yeah.
Again, this is not playtesting.
Yeah.
This is me going to tournaments and happening not to see a card.
Yeah.
So maybe if you playtest and you run the numbers, you see that card X amount of times, it wins you games.
Yeah.
That's a good card to play. However, it's the feels bad nature of it.
When you don't.
When you don't get it, or you've never gotten it, that it's like, this card isn't doing anything for me because I've never resolved it.
No, you're absolutely right. Because like I can't remember the last time I actually activated Solemn Judgment, but one of the Solemn cards or Primite Scream or whatever I have used.
Yes.
So that's why like I did do the Solemn Judgment plus 2 warnings.
Yeah.
was very hard to see because there's only 3 cards in a 40 card pile.
Yeah.
So I did 5 cards to increase the chances. Of course, I do similar things. And it's like, oh, well, why not up it to 7? Why not blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I'm not going first every single time.
Yeah.
So I'd rather use cards that I can do on both first and second, right? Droll, I can go first or second. I can use it. Nib, I can go first or second. I can use it. Super Poly, first and second. So Super Poly will act similarly to like a judgment almost. So if I wanted 2 additional judgments, then it's like, okay, well, I can set this depending on the match. Then I just take their monsters.
For my rationale behind Super Poly, like I'm not playing it right now.
Yeah.
But I have in Draco Tail before.
Yeah.
My rationale is as a go second card, it's free. Now, that sounds crazy because everybody knows Super Poly is a -1.
Yeah.
Like, you activate 1 card, you discard another, you get 1 monster.
Yeah.
So I've given up 2 cards for the price of 1.
Yeah.
But I've outed your 2 cards.
Yes.
So I'm kind of up.
Yeah.
It was 2 cards for the price of 3 because I took out 2 of your guys and I gained a monster.
Yeah.
But the reason why I say it's free is because you start with 5 cards, and as the second turn player, you draw 1. So there's your discard of a Super Poly.
Right.
Right? And you have the choice.
And depending on what your deck is, it can be fine.
Yes.
I draw Blue Eyes, that's fine. I send the Blue Eyes. Send the Jet.
Yeah.
Even if I send like a starter that I really need, like Wishes. Whatever I go into moving forward, that Wishes now makes me a Tyrant.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why, like, again, deck dependent. If you can't risk a discard, then don't do it.
Yes.
If you make a Dark Magician build that doesn't rely on lots of drawing, maybe you can't use the discard because you need that discard for Dragoon or for another card.
Exactly.
Because, right? Like, you need to be very mindful with what costs you can risk. Yeah. So it just, and again, meta relevant, right? Like, how impactful will Super Poly be when Dragoon or Dark Magician is around?
Yeah, and this is an important aspect I want to cover on this too, is siding for coverage.
Yeah.
Opposed to matchup dependency. It might be in your best interest right now, depending on your locals or your regional scene, to play triple Lancia.
Yeah.
Now, I'm only ever going to put Lancia in playing against Malice, maybe Lunalight.
Yeah.
Those are the only matchups where that card is relevant to
me.
However, if I don't play that in my side deck and I play against those and I don't have it, I'm going to wish I did.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
So my approach is instead of playing 3 Lancias, I play 1 and I play 2 Meows. Because if I play into those matchups, the Meows is going to put in work for me.
Yeah.
And it might even draw me into the Lancia.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, it might be too late, but
yeah, enough.
It could be enough at that point.
Yeah.
Also, my deck has in-engine ways that I can draw to see the Lancia.
Yeah.
Like off-branded fusions.
Yeah.
Even just fusing it with Feymena and adding it back or whatever, right? I have ways to do this. Some decks might not have that same wiggle room.
Yeah.
Then you might need to play them because your deck might just straight up lose to Malice.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. And I think you mentioned something too, like siding for your locals.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
It's very important to know.
It's good. But then if you're applying that, I side for the metagame at my locals, then you also have to change your side deck when you go to different locals. And then you have to change your side deck when you go to regionals, YCS, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're playing those types of circuits, because it won't be the same.
Yeah.
And that feels good or feels bad aspect of siding and swapping cards in and out.
Yeah.
You need to play test those siding patterns too.
Yes.
So I guess all that to say, like, yes, side for the events you're playing in, obviously. But also keep in mind that because no one plays Malice at your locals doesn't mean you're not going to go to regionals and get absolutely fucking cooked if you don't have Lancia.
Yep, exactly. Because that's how the odd Malice player tops.
Yes.
Because everyone's not expecting it.
Yes.
Right? And it's happened before. And it'll still happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps happening.
Yeah.
Fucking until we get a ban list.
So and that's the other thing too, is like, well, how do I know? It's like, well, I think the best way to approach it, in my opinion, is just understand the metagame.
Yes.
And what decks are running rampant. So it's like, okay, well, let me cover Yamimitsu, let me cover K9, and let me cover potentially Malice.
Yes.
Right? And you don't have to necessarily cover Malice like 3 Lancias, but maybe the Meows have that.
Yeah,
because
and that's what I mean by coverage is
yeah.
That's why I play the Meows over the Lancias is because
you could play it in Mitsu. Yummy.
Yes, exactly. Right? So Mitsu Yummy.
It's not dead.
Yes.
In your side.
Then there's other rogue decks where it's like this is actually relevant.
Yeah.
Then if I played Lancia, again, there's only those 2 options.
Yeah.
So now I'm covering Malice, Mitsu Yummy, whatever rogue deck.
Yeah.
And also Lunalight. So I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said too though, like definitely Lancia is more impactful against Malice and Lunalight than Meows is.
Yeah.
Because what is the point of drawing into every hand trap I have if I'm facing down 2 Ligers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those things you need to factor. If you're going to a regional in the next month, 2 months, 3 months, you're going to play a Lunalight player. I guarantee it. Or at least one will be there.
Yeah.
Because there's some freaks out there.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. There's a Lunalight player at our locals.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with sacrificing the quality of my side deck over the coverage. Because overall the coverage is going to get me more wins than if I somehow every locals get paired up with the Lunalight guy.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I really wish I had Lancia.
Yeah.
But
and that's like that's like one thing to look at it that way. Because then the way I look at it is like I could put Meows in or I could put like a Lancia just in case for the Malice player. But the way I look at it with our locals, like it's just one player. So the chances of them, me playing against them, I'm just going to try and play through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do my best to play through. Hopefully I open enough other cards. That way I can still stop them. Because my other hand traps can still stop Lunalight from having Liger.
Yeah.
My other, hand traps can help push through Malice. Super Poly can push through Malice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's things like that where I'm like, okay, again, these like Super Poly, Droll, whatever it is, they have like even more coverage. They're very generic because you can still apply them to like basically any deck.
Yeah.
Whereas like Lancia, Meows isn't so. But when you go into like a YCS where winning is very much more important than winning your locals, that might be a different consideration.
Absolutely.
Maybe taking out like the Super Polys might be the move. Then I just have other extra deck options. So that way maybe I consider SP. So that way I get a banish, take out something else from their side of the board to help me with my game. Things like that. But you just got to consider like the meta game because like your locals is going to be different than regionals or YCS, and it's most likely because the regional and YCS are going to be far more competitive. People are going to be far more into the advanced format and playing the meta relevant decks because they want to be winning again, competitive. Whereas your locals is more fun.
That's a huge aspect too, right? Like the same guy can go play regionals and play locals, right? Like I said, your side deck might change depending because if I go to a regionals, I'm expecting this percent to be playing Draco Tail, this percent to be playing VSK9, this percent to be playing Mitsu Yummy. That's the coverage I'm looking for in my side deck.
Yeah,
which is different than I got to worry about 6 Sam guy, Lunalight guy, stun guy.
Yeah.
I try to tailor mine to what I think the meta is because even if I go to locals and I lose to the 6 Sam player or I lose to the stun player, sorry, Andreas, I don't mean to lump you into that conversation, but just for the purposes of this, I don't feel as it reflects poorly on myself as much as if I lose every matchup into a meta deck.
Yeah.
Then I know when I'm going to regionals, I'm getting cooked.
Yeah.
I can't beat these guys. But if my side deck is providing me more options to beat those decks that I'm more concerned about or more sure that I'm going to be facing at a regional event, then I feel more confident.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to pull up on a 6 Sam player at regionals.
Yeah.
Like, it'll only be Andres. And at that point, if I lose to Andres at the regionals, I'll take it,
Yeah.
But that's all with in tandem with what we said last week. Like, just hand trap the guy.
It's no different than like any like other FTK or stun. It's like you're just never gonna you can't consider every single deck.
You don't have enough coverage. There's only 15 slots.
Yeah, exactly. So you can only just consider like the meta, what your deck could lose to very easily to, and just the meta because that people are gonna be there to win and they're gonna play some of the best decks that exist. Yeah. And then you get some weird slops because like our regional when we went Calgary. The guy was playing like
Red Eyes.
The Red Eyes.
Bestial, Draco Tail,
and
fucking.
No, it wasn't Draco Tail. It was Yeah, actually, might have had Draco Tail, but it was like for sure Regenesis in there.
Yeah.
With the Red Eyes black metal, and it had Dragoon in there, and that's just like.
The pro was cooking.
Yeah, you know, and he just had the hand that worked for him, and that was just a really rough one for me. We're not gonna go back to that, but but like you just have guys that just come out with something like that, and it just catches you off guard, because then, if you ultimately too, like if you side the way you need to side, if you don't draw it, and then they just combo off. So even if you side perfectly, if you don't draw the card you need, then it just doesn't matter, right? That's the ultimate thing about it. So it's tough with siding. You do have to consider it a lot, but I don't know what's easier to even side for, like locals or even like the higher competitive stuff, like because with the competitive stuff you just got to think meta, whereas locals it's like meta-ish but general coverage. It's
general coverage at locals, I think. And then you might hate a
easier?
Specific guy or his deck, and you'd be like, well, I'm fucking playing these in case I run into Steve. But I think going into a regional event or any tournament like regionals or YCS or whatever, Nats, whatever, you're making an assumption based off what you see in the wider community. So other regional events, other YCSs, but you're also having to infer what other people have inferred about the results of the most recent thing. So we saw this recently. A few YCSs ago, it was like, oh, the hits to Yummy, everyone's playing Draco Tail now. So the result of everyone playing Draco Tail was everyone started playing VSK9 again, because people stopped playing VSK9 so that they could play Yummy, which meant people started playing Draco Tail, which now means people are playing VSK9, triangle format. So then after you see a bunch of people play VSK9, you infer that a lot of people are going to switch to Yummy Mitsu. And if that's happening, then also a lot of people might switch back to Draco Tail. So if you have coverage over those three, you're probably pretty good. But then someone could be interpolating that information and being like, I should play Primite Odeon. And you're like, well, fuck, my deck can't. You know, do I take out the Meows and the Lancia because I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing Malice. I'm worried about these three things. And put in, you know, evenly matched. And then I run into a Malice player, a Lunalight player, and I'm like, this doesn't help. So it is a gamble. It's always a gamble. And not to take anything away from people who, you know, top tournaments, but a lot of times it's based off you're studying the game. And then you're making a judgment call. That judgment call can often be the difference. Like, you'll see a guy's deck profile and be like, this card right here, this won me the tournament. And it's some random side card. Okay.
Like, why did you run this?
And then it's hilarious. Because there's people who watch like the deck profiles, and then there's people who watch or who look up a list. So you'll get a deck profile, and a guy will be like, I don't even know why I played this card. I didn't summon it once. Like, this card's not good in this deck. Like, I tested it. I thought it could do something. Never came up. And people are like, oh shit, Draco Tail is now playing Doom Eagle or whatever the fuck. And it's like,
no.
This guy never summoned it. But he won. But he didn't need it. Could have been anything else. You know, so then people are cutting a card that's good in the deck to play a card that has no relevance.
That's not good,
Yeah, I think the one in Draco Tail was like Boral Sword Dragon or something.
Okay.
It was like, the guy was literally like, I never summoned this. This was a mistake.
Yeah.
People were like, yo, Boral Sword's actually crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not.
Because he probably put it in thinking that it was going to do something that people couldn't or wouldn't know how to interact with. But he never did it. Because you're forgetting the fact that people can also interact into your plays.
Exactly.
So once they do that, it cuts off that.
Plus,
momentum.
and I mentioned this on the last pod, like, it's dependent on your play test group. If you have a wide spread of decks and, like, especially in the meta, you get great information on how your deck might perform. But if you don't, and you just test out your locals or whatever, then your judgment calls might be way off.
Yeah.
And a Boral Sword that resolves at your locals has no business resolving at a regional, say.
Yeah.
So
because no application there.
Yes.
Right. And that's where it becomes like really difficult with some cards. So as we're speaking about like side patterns and what we put in the side, considering the deck you're playing.
Yep.
I was telling you how if you can run board breakers in the new format, because it seems to be like that might be the move. But again, I feel like the board breaker approach seems to be the case that people just jump to when they don't know what certain cards do.
Yes.
Because that was the approach initially before people Triff was like, oh, hand trap. People were going like, as much board breakers, lightning storm, Rogeki against the Yummy, whatever. And then he's like, no, hand traps for sure. But then hand traps, you die to like K9 because K9 goes full combo. Regardless, with this current format, as we're going into it, like the new 3 decks, people are thinking just board breakers. As long as the board presence is big, so let's shut that, like destroy the board, evenly match Rogeki, Darkhold, whatever. Now
you bring up like a really good point.
Yeah.
When a format shifts, that is exactly what is occurring.
Yeah.
Is people haven't learned the best points of interaction.
Yeah.
So their hand traps have less value. Yes.
Just like, I'm just going to get rid of your board.
Yeah, what happens if I, Bell or Ash this? Yeah. Not a lot. Okay. But had I waited and let them continue to establish their board and then hit them here.
Yeah.
Or, people weren't playing Bell at the beginning of the format. They just were not. They were playing Ghost Ogre because VSK9 was more of an issue.
Yeah, because it was destroying field spells on both, on Yummy and...
Exactly.
Right? So Ghost Ogre was the go-to. Bell hasn't been used in a long time.
Yes.
As a consistent hand trap.
It's been a while since Bell has been like meta relevant on any sort of scale close to what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and those are discoveries that are made by playing.
Yeah.
But you're right in that the approach was at the beginning of like the Jush format that board breakers. And then people go into those events, do their playtesting, and it was like, oh, these are not doing as much as we hoped they had.
Yeah.
There's ways to play around them. I think it's better to playtest and figure out what works.
Yeah.
Than to jump on board breakers and hope that they work.
Yeah.
But what I will say, like coming into the next format where we're getting decks like the new branded support, Radiant Typhoon is one that I'm excited for, and I think people are really sleeping on.
Yeah.
But I also think the deck has certain weaknesses that some people might not be, myself included, might not be considering because we just don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting too, like TCG is not OCG.
Yeah.
And what's good there doesn't always translate here.
Yes.
Often it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't always.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things to consider and why. The main thing is the ban list.
Yeah.
We have different card pools.
Yeah.
So even cards like Malice, say decks like Malice. Like we had Haggard Lizardos as a TCG exclusive.
Okay.
Which alters the way Malice plays. So like maybe in the OCG, I'm not sure what the timeline was. Like maybe Splash Mage remained legal longer there than here because they didn't have access, and killing a card like Splash Mage really depleted Malice's strength and popularity. But people have found recently that it's not much of an issue actually. So I think like Radiant Typhoon is not a highly like taunted deck or touted deck there. I don't think people should sleep on it. And that deck plays 15 board breakers in the main deck.
Yeah.
Because they're all quick play spells.
Yeah. And that's the scary part, is that like depending on how your deck plays, because they're quick play spells, going second, it could be a pretty gnarly deck.
Yeah.
Right. You got the MSTs, you got the board breaker quick plays, droplets.
Yeah. You have Droplet, you got MST, you got Super Poly, you got Fallen and the Virtuous.
Yeah, and that's like what you have now. Like you can get Crown later. So there's a lot of things that can be really good. And like, so, some cards, like depending, like I said, on your deck, you might want to run, like going second, for example, if you do board breakers. If your deck can run board breakers without the need of like actually playing the real board breakers, that way you don't have to worry about drawing them, but you search them.
Yes.
That might be more ideal. For example, like with Dark Magician, if you really need to set, that bonds, get your DMG board breaker, then you get a free back row removal or monster removal.
Yeah,
without needing the need to draw it.
Even like Pharaoh Servant, just discard to blow up the back row.
Yeah.
Right, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That has been like a revelation for me.
Yeah.
I think you said this initially too, that like your Blue Eyes deck has the ability to break boards with its engine.
Yeah.
Which I think is an important distinction to make and consider when you're building your main deck.
Yes.
Like Draco Tail, if I resolve a single spell or trap, I can break your board.
Yeah.
Or at least crack your board.
Yeah.
Which allows me to play a bunch of hand traps.
Yeah.
Not only because they're synergistic in the way of fusing with them.
Yeah.
But I have coverage in the way of board breakers already.
Yeah.
So I don't need more.
Yes.
With the exception of like Fallen in the Virtuous.
Right. Exactly.
So
things like that. Like you don't need to play. Like I don't need to play 3 Lightning Storms and 2 Regekis to hope and break your board.
Yeah.
I just need 1 Feather Duster and like 2 Lightning Storms to just really conflict with decks. Like because where my deck conflicts with Draco Tail, that I need to make sure I get rid of those first.
Yes.
But if I'm going first, I don't need those at all because I will set up a board where I'll pop your back row.
Yes.
And because I know you're playing Draco Tail, then I'm gonna set a Majesty as one of my sets.
Yes.
Because the moment you set those two, I just go Majesty, pop them.
Yeah.
So it'll be within your best interest to consider what you set. If you set K2 and Rahu, then you might have just screwed yourself.
Exactly.
But then you also might have follow up in hand, whatever.
Yes.
But that gives me knowledge because then if you set K2 Rahu, I know you don't have that in hand.
See.
But you could be baiting me.
Exactly.
Right. But what you could also be doing is if you set 1 trap and 1 spell, then you have the other in hand. Right?
Could be.
Because why would you not set the other?
I believe this happened in our Mat CS match where I set K2 and maybe Rahu, and I had one of them in hand.
Yeah.
Because I knew you had Majesty.
Yeah.
And I knew the allure of popping both of these things would be too much to ignore.
Yeah.
So then you had to.
I had It just makes sense because I don't know what your hand is.
Exactly.
But if it was another Draco Tail player and he set like K2 and a trap, then it's probably safe to say that he probably already has Rahu.
He might have it in hand, yeah.
Right, because why not have that a follow-up?
This is something
defender?
Sean put me on because I was playing against him. He was playing VSK9. I think I've told the story before, but he had Caesar Valius, and I know he had it because he searched it. And I set K2. Then he summoned it and popped it. And one of my other sets, like I set 2, was a K2. Or I had one, or somehow he knew I had 2 K2s or the ability to get to 2 K2s. He was like, you should have set 2 of them.
Yeah. He's
like, because you know I had the pop.
Yeah.
If you need that card to resolve and you have access to 2 of them, set 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't matter. Then I'm forced. I either don't pop one because there's no point, save the pop for something else.
Yeah.
And I give you 2 K2s, or I pop one and you resolve the other.
Yeah.
So it's a no-win scenario if you set 2.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm losing is the second card, but I have to make a choice. Which card do I really need to resolve?
Yeah.
And if it's K2, then I'm setting 2 K2s, which is the same principle as I have a K2 in hand. I know you have a pop 2 with your Majesty. I'll set another K2 because if you don't pop them, I'll resolve the one in hand. Or if you do pop them, I'll resolve the one in hand.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'll just play with the one I set.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. Be mindful when it comes to siding. Consider how your deck plays with certain extra deck or side decks because like
synergies. It's synergies.
Because like even just Droll by itself, if it's the only card I have left in hand, I can still normal summon, go Spirit, and I end up with the Blue Eyes on board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So consider what's helpful, but Droll's also just getting to anything. But because of that synergy, I can do that, right? I could play more Veilers because it acts as a starter, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather other hand traps because I can search it.
Yeah.
Right? So some people will treat Veiler differently with Blue Eyes. So be very mindful with how you add cards and how it interacts with your deck.
And yes, that's the part I want to touch on too is sometimes people play too much engine.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this card's so good, I'd have to play it.
Yeah.
Like our first ever episode where the Blue Eyes player played every card that said Blue Eyes on it.
Yes.
And it was like, you don't need all of these. And some of these are bad.
Yeah.
Some of these sound really cool.
Yeah.
Blow up the board. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, this is never going to happen for you, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead of playing those, then you put stuff in your main deck, and maybe you can side some of those cards. Like you said, siding engine cards. Like, for instance, one of my most used side cards is Cartesia. there's times I've played it in the main, and it's good in the main, but I have a deck that already has like 2 or 3 normal summons. So if I play Cartesia in the main, that's another normal summon. How often am I going to get to resolve that Cartesia?
Yeah.
Do I want to see Lucaeus Malulu Cartesia with, Perulia and Bell in hand? Or do I want to see, Malulu Cartesia, Malulu Lucaeus, Ash, Bell, and Perulia?
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather that second option.
Yeah.
Because it gives me a better chance at actually resolving the cards I need to resolve.
Yeah.
So, with that said, sometimes it's not even about taking out engine when you side. It's about the construction of your main deck needs to be more in line with how you're siding after. Mm-hmm. And so going second, yeah, sure, I'll throw the Cartesias in because I don't need to see Perulia, Fuelos in my opening hand now.
Yeah.
So if I have 4 normal summons, whatever.
Yeah.
I only need one of them to resolve. Mm-hmm. And if they're Fey Meta in there, it doesn't even matter if the normal summon resolves. Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So those are all things to consider too. And yeah, it is always based off your deck, like you say, but don't get strung up on ratios, so to speak. If you have what you need, then you have what you need, and there's room to wiggle.
Just be very mindful, consider it, because just because one hand trap or one side card is meta relevant doesn't mean it's going to work into your deck.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just kind of the way it goes. Because everyone's using shifter doesn't mean you should just use shifter. Because if your deck dies to it, then then who are you hurting, right? At that point.
And even like, decks that can play shifter should play shifter.
Yeah.
Fuck you, but you should.
Yeah.
But also,
because you should give yourself that.
If you're playing a one of, it's not a strategy you can or should bank on.
Yes, absolutely.
If there's a more consistent thing, maybe not as a 1-for-1 trade, but like if you're relying on 2 die-fi and a shifter, going second, those die-fis will not help you.
Yeah.
So if that's what your strategy is based on, maybe you need to find other options or other more viable cards to in line with shifter.
Yeah.
But or maybe you just don't play the die-fis or like whatever, but yeah. But that should do it for us.
Yes.
Again,
to say,
go check out Matt CS. The matches will come out this Thursday and this Friday. There's only 2. Raaid explained what happened in the
so our
second
game 2 of the 3 matches or 3 games was just too long.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not uploading it. This is
rules
wise, it's just not.
Yeah, there's also a lot of yapping going on because it went so long that no one else was playing. So
be pretty slow, boring game. So.
Make sure you like the video.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
And then comment down below your thoughts and opinions on how you side out your deck, what you decide to prioritize, and what it's like for your locals. Like, what are the meta decks or the decks that you guys consider for siding and stuff like that. And
Catch you on the next one. Peace.